Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first CO2 neutral session, CO2 neutral at work. I'm Therese De Bruyne, and normally I operate in digital space coaching and mentoring deep tech startups and introducing them in the media ecosystem, and a job with a lot of buzzwords like AI, blockchain, data. But last fall, I saw an interview with Bieke de Ketelaere, and she mentioned something that didn't seem that significant. But she says, I'm not using Waze to find my way in traffic because it's too polluting. So it rang a bell. It struck a nerve, and I went and did some research, and then I saw how big our ecological digital footprint actually really is. It's as big as the aviation industry in 2019. So it made me think and take action. So I launched bARK.today, and bARK.today is a nonprofit that is using sustainable team building by building little tiny food forests and to help everyone to get more CO2 neutral and ecological conscious. So I'm quite happy that I found a lineup with amazing people who have been pioneering in sustainable space for ages. I have Antoine Geerinckx. Good morning, Antoine. Nice to have you here.
Good morning.
I have Simon Schillebeeckx. Hello, Simon. Welcome.
Hello. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you. I have Olivier Vergeynst.
Good morning.
Hi, Olivier. I have Thong Vang, who, if I'm not sure if he's there yet, but he's looking for a headset, so he will join us in a while. I have Dajo Hermans.
Good morning.
Hi, Dajo. I have Frank Missoul. Hi, Frank. Yes, you're sitting next to Dajo. It's always a bit strange. I see you nodding like this. And then I have Hilde De Windt, and she will be co-presenting this show. Welcome.
Hello.
Hilde and Josiane, she's working backstage. She can take the screen out. Hi, Josiane. So, Hilde, you're a well-known journalist, documentary maker, and photographer, but I would describe you as a visionary storytelling. So, it really moved you when I asked you to join us. You said, "Count me in." Why did you say yes?
Because as the Dutch well-known journalist, the correspondent journalist Rutger Bregman said, I think I'm convinced that most of the people are willing to do something good and are really thinking in a positive direction. And I, in my work as a journalist, I encountered so many cases where I actually could see how nudging things helps people to do the right thing. So for me, it's more about helping and supporting and making things easier than about punishing and bringing bad news, because I think it works. And we have to be aware. People are not enough aware about what is wrong with sustainability, and actually we have to tell them and help them to find solutions. That is why.
Yeah.
And so, I actually saw that. Yeah.
You go ahead, Hilde. Go ahead.
Actually, it was CO2 Logic who helped me see that, because I did a film for the company. I went to Benin and made something about a very simple solution of stoves by which women really reduced the polluted air, and children got better, and so. And it was so simple. So I was really struck by that, and that put me completely on that track.
Yeah, super. Because it is indeed thanks to you that we have Antoine here. Antoine, I am gonna give the floor to Hilde, because she indeed worked with you for quite a while. And yes, I would say you're one of the the pioneers, because you almost know everyone here around the table, and for me it's a completely new space. So I'm gonna listen and learn a lot, I hope, today. So Hilde, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, indeed, Antoine. As I said, it was also thanks to you and to the company that I got to go in Africa, in Benin, and could see this very simple solution with a huge impact on the climate. You are with Earth Funders, supporting NGOs to find necessary funding to help fight the climate change. Because you as well, you're eager to find solutions, right?
Yes, of course. I think everybody here in the meeting, the air meet, is here to find solutions. And of course, it was really nice back in the days already to have you with us report and make a documentary, a very small documentary about the sometimes very simple solutions such as the efficient cook stoves in the project Drawdown. It's also one of the 100 solutions that are provided globally to fight deforestation and climate change. As you know, approximately 3 billion people still cook on a daily basis with wood or charcoal. And this is called domestic deforestation. So it's something that people cannot do a lot because there is poverty and there's no alternative for them because all the alternatives are way too expensive. So providing them with more efficient cook stoves, saving approximately 50% of wood and charcoal with a cost of approximately $5 is a very cheap but very efficient solution to slow down deforestation. Of course, it's not the solution in the long term, but it's at least one of the solutions.
Yeah, simple and very much out of the box to come to such a simple solution. But of course, your core business is CO2 Logic, and you were with CO2 Logic one of the first consultancy firms in Belgium, but also in Europe, to help to calculate and to measure and to reduce CO2 emissions. You refer to Gandhi's famous quote, "We must be the change we wish to see in the world." Can you explain where your passion came from and why this Gandhi quote was so important for you?
Yes, we used the Gandhi quote very early, 2006, 2007, when we created CO2 Logic. Now it's been overused. It's like Magritte. This is not a PIP. It's also overused at the moment. But I like to use another quote today, which is a little bit more original than the Gandhi one. It's let everyone sweep in front of his door and the whole world will be clean. And that's exactly the same with climate change. If everybody, and that's what's great about this get together with all these solution providers today, is that they all come with solutions that will allow everybody to do something in front of his door. And then we can fight really climate change. It's not one or two big solutions that will change it. It's a lot of different small solutions that will make the change. But the passion comes from, because I love nature. I've always been very close to nature, and very early I asked myself, oh, what can I do to fight climate change? And there was nothing really available in Belgium. So but CO2 doesn't stop at country borders, so it's not just about Belgium. It's so much more than Belgium, because we're all interconnected. And I think the pandemic today shows us that we're so much interconnected, and that we have to think much further than around the church, as they call it in Belgium or in Flanders. A lot of people, unfortunately, and nationalistic people, think only about Flanders or Belgium, but it's so much more than that.
I can see your passion is still there. You've launched quite a while ago a CO2 Logic label. Let's look at a short video about that. It starts. Okay.
In light of urgent environmental challenges, many organizations have implemented corporate responsibility strategies to address their impact on climate change. Because how could an organization be considered responsible if it's not aware of its own climate impact, or making transparent and measurable efforts to act on it? Luckily, there's a rising engagement of responsible organizations reaping the ecological, financial, marketing, and HR benefits of serious climate action. Because those acting on climate will perform better. To stimulate those benefits and increase recognition of responsible organizations, CO2 Logic, an independent third-party Vinsat, developed the CO2 Neutral label based on the internationally recognized PAS 2060 standard. As opposed to greenwashing, this label can only be achieved through serious climate efforts, without transferring their climate change impact and cost to future generations. Since 2007, it guarantees that labeled organizations are actively calculating, reducing and compensating their local and global climate impact. Whichever term you prefer, this label means that there are real people with real climate ambitions behind it. Because without a planet, there are no people, and there's no prosperity or profit.
Yes, Antoine, this is all about the label. Why is such a label important? Can you explain that very briefly?
Yeah, well, today, of course, and in the past years, climate action has become at the forefront of company efforts, and a lot of people talk about climate, and that's also good already. But today we are past this talking. We need to action, and the label is a kind of end result, and it's also the start result of real efforts. You can only obtain this label if you calculate, reduce, and offset, and you take your responsibility for your CO2 emissions, and it's third-party controlled by. So you cannot bullshit and do greenwashing if you have the label, so otherwise you don't get it. So that's really important, because we need to be able, and people need to be able to distinguish people that really do something than people that just talk, and with just talking we won't get there.
A question I'm having, because you just mentioned the word greenwashing, might be new for everyone here following this webinar. Can you quickly explain what it means?
Well, it has different forms. Of course, greenwashing, it's just, exaggerating or saying something that you do regarding environmental or climate issues that is not really coherent with the reality. So that's greenwashing. But sometimes, unfortunately, people use also greenwashing to picture people that try to do something, but don't get there yet, or are not perfect yet, and that's something that's really important, that sometimes it's used in the wrong way. You cannot put greenwashing image or a stamp on somebody who's trying to do something and is really honest about it, because otherwise you will demotivate people that are trying to do something, and that's exactly what we need. We need to help and support people that have good intentions and that want to do something. And you cannot reduce 100% CO2 in just a few weeks. It takes years sometimes, and you need some flexibility, because every company is in a different situation, different location, different energy needs, different energy mix depending on the country, different sectors. So you need to give time, but of course it has to be impactful and go as fast as possible, of course.
Yeah. Now, one question I'm always having before we round up, if I want to make sure we're here on time, are we not too late? Because I read so many new things, and sometimes I'm choking, and I'm thinking, you freeze almost if you look at the amount of work we still have to do to get there.
Well, it's probably too late to save the planet as we have known it. There will be changes. We've already reached a warming of, I think, 1.2 degrees since the Industrial Revolution. So it's already, and we have to try to remain under 1.5. So the window is getting smaller. Yeah, even if your house is burning, like a lot of people say today, like Greta, you will still do as much as possible to save what you can save. You will not say, okay, I'm leaving, the house is burning, and I'm not going to try anything. So I think everybody here and around us, and we see this at company level and political level, more and more people want to do as much as possible. Of course, sometimes it takes a little bit too much time. Yeah.
Okay. So Hilde, I give you the last question before we round up and we go to the next guest. But Antoine already thanks you for being here. Yeah.
No, I just was wondering what you do with the non-believers. Do you meet them? Do you have to convince them?
I think most of them are in museums, somewhere in the geographical museums, natural history museum, I think. The non-believers, it's getting very rare. I think everybody realizes that it's a common effort that we have to do very quickly, and we don't encounter them anymore. Sometimes there is still a lot of prejudice about a few solutions because they have some interest in one or the other. But non-believers are getting very rare, and I classify them in the National History Museum.
Okay.
Well, I might have a few that are still in the museum, but then I'm gonna call you. So thank you, Antoine, for joining us, and we're going and we will. What will you present after this session? You will have your own session for people who are interested in what CO2 Logic is doing.
Yeah, and not talk too much about CO2 Logic, but at principles. Principles, if you want to save our planet, and it sounds very arrogant to say this, but when you give advice, it's very often not applicable to all sectors and all companies or all institutions. And what we try to share is principles, because principles are usually more easily applicable to any sector. So that's what I try to share with the people in the breakout session.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
Thank you.